Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. We are delighted to have you with us and extend our sincere gratitude for your valuable participation in this global educational gathering that brings together teachers, experts, and policymakers from around the world. Established in 2009 and in line with Her Majesty Queen Rania Al Abdullah's vision, QRTA is a nonprofit organization committed to supporting and empowering educators with the skills needed to nurture your lead future generations. The Academy remains committed to providing innovative, high quality professional development programs in Jordan and in the Arab world. The QRTA Forum stands as one of the Academy's most prominent annual inventive, offering platforms for educators, researchers, and education leaders to exchange experiences, discuss emerging challenges, and inspire meaningful change in education. This year's forum focuses on strengthening citizenship and values through education, featuring key themes such as active citizenship, education for sustainable development, digital citizenship, teaching and learning, and educational leadership. Before today's session begins, we would like to remind you that the certificates for attendees will be provided, and we invite you to complete the feedback survey shared at the end of the event to help us continue improving our future innovatives. Please allow me to introduce Ms. Noor Khamfar. Ms. Noor Khamfar is an educator and researcher with over 7 years of experience, international teaching and educational research. She holds a master's in education and focuses on leadership and community engagement. Noor is currently pursuing professional education diploma in STEAM education at AUC. Until Ms. Noor joins us, allow me to share with you the presentation. We thank you for your patience. Ms. Noor, she will join us soon.
Okay.
Until that happens, you are welcome to share with us the name of your school and your experience on chat, so we would know how many participants do we have, the backgrounds that you have. We have some people from Jordan, we have some people from Yemen, welcome, and from Lebanon, UAE. Thank you for sharing. And also we have some people from KSA. Welcome, everyone. We have some people that are secondary teachers from England. That's very good. Also from Abu Dhabi. We have different years of experience. Some people, they have 7 years, 5 years, 12 years. Also from Egypt. Again, from Lebanon. Welcome, everyone. Saudi Arabia, from London as well. Tunisia, from KSA. Zambia. Oh, very nice. And also from Jordan again. We have some people that are trainers, education consultant and SAEL trainer. Algeria. Welcome, everyone. Tunisia, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, KSA as well. We are so proud. We are honored to have you, everyone, with us. Also, we have from KSA and from Saudi Arabia as well, and also from Jordan. Different people, different backgrounds. Singapore, welcome. We have also 19 years in field. I am honored. All right, we can also talk about your specialty, like what do you teach? Let's see what you are specialized in. Are you a primary teacher, a secondary teacher, high school teacher? Do you teach languages, English? Do you teach math, science, linguistics, English, math, English? KG teacher, secondary teacher, also a secondary teacher. Arabic, primary, biology, primary, English. KG, English language, secondary, elementary, special needs, art, science, English language, from Lebanon, high school physical education teacher, English, primary teachers, also math, primary, STEAM, as some people are specialized in STEAM. Can you please share with us your expectations for this session? You have joined this session for a main reason. What do you expect from this session? What do you expect to learn? Also we have people from Lebanon. What do you expect from this session? Empowering youth to lead community change. What do you think you will learn in this session? We will learn how to engage students and empower them to become effective citizens. Very good. I think we will learn how to be a leader and how to change reality by himself. Techniques and activities. Again, we have secondary teachers. Also, do you think that we need to learn about empowering youth in order for them to change? I joined this session hoping it will give me tools to help me turn my students into leaders and how to become more involved in their community. Students will manage their learning. Yes. How do we make students leaders? Very good. Students should not be passive anymore. Very good. Very good. And this is what we need right now. We need to empower our students in order for them to become leaders. Very good answers. How they lead their future. To be researchers and independent learners. Activities that students can do to obtain skills and empowering them to lead community. Transform ideas into actions. How students can take ownership and create a real impact. Very good. It will be useful and inspiring to make students leaders. How to instill the values, attitudes, and how to serve their communities with passion and modesty as effectively. Self-centered learning, leaders. I noticed that you are using the word leaders a lot, and that is impressive. Empowering students with agency and skills to contribute to effective change. Teach critical thinking and problem solving and other skills. Teaching is about preparing them for the future and empowering one of this preparation. Very good. By using all the tools that they have to change, foster their self-confidence to be active learners and leaders to the future, inspire students to connect, not just to collect knowledge. That's it. That's well said. They are the leaders of the future. That is correct. Yes, you are correct. And if I ask you a question, what do you think we mean by youth leadership? You've mentioned the word leaders. If we want to think about it, what do we mean by youth leadership? When we are talking about leaders that are youth, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What does that mean? How can we implement that? Decision makers, yes. They should know how to manage their lives. Very good. Work on their personality. Youth leadership is the practice where young people develop and apply leadership skills to influence their peers, communities, and institutions. Lead the future with young age. Critical thinking is a must. Being reliable. Welcome. Hello. Collaboration and empathy. Youth taking leads on activities with their age like peers. Young people who will take innovative and influence change. Emotional intelligence. Yes, and if you notice that recently there is a lot of focus on emotional learning and emotional awareness and emotional intelligence. Yes, that is correct. Management control. When young people take responsibility, guide others, and make positive change in their community, school, or group. Proactive rather than submissive. Yes, that is correct. Install the critical thinking and problem solving at early age. That is correct. Yes, you have the access for the mic. You just need to raise your hand in order for us to have a organized session. Skill building, youth leaders learn communication, teamwork, critical decision making. Students lead innovatives, empowering youth to lead community change. This will be our session for today. Those are the things that we are going to cover. I see a hand that is just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. نور عواد
Fadallah.
yeah
Hi,
عوض الله. Yes,
thank you. Yes, according to you, we have been asking about like the title of this session,
yeah,
youth leadership, right?
yes,
And we expected to learn about how to lead the young generation to become leaders.
mhm,
Like this is the main point, to become an educator, not a teachers, as we
yes,
want in this future. Because teaching is not really what we're looking for. We want to become educator to leave an impact on our student and nothing than making them a leaders for the future. I was wondering also if we are going to, is this session is going to be delayed, or are we going to wait more, or can we go over the slides until the host come? Is it possible?
again I couldn't hear you.
I was wondering if we can like go over the slides until the host come so we can have a
Yes,
brief.
yes, this is what we're gonna do. Yes,
Oh, thank you.
thank you so much for your participation. Okay, this is what we will talk about today. Today we will explore how educators can empower students, especially for upper primary grades, to lead community change, and this is what we've been discussing. Also, we are going to talk about fostering civic engagement, responsibility, and 21st century skills. And this is what the new education is focusing on these days. Also, we are going to highlight 3 proven frameworks: service learning youth action, and also research called YPAR. It's a project based learning, the PBL, and we are going to clarify how they build leadership cultures in school. This is mainly the main ideas that we are going to go over. On the agenda: introduction and context, why youth leadership matters today. Also, there's an icebreaker activity. What do we mean by youth leadership and its importance today? Frameworks for empowering youth, integrating the 3 frameworks, and the 6 thinking hat strategy. By the end, we are going to make some reflection. Let's start with the first topic: why youth leadership matters today. Let's answer this question. You can answer using chat or by raising your hand and unmuting your mic. Again, the question: why youth leadership matters today. What do you think? Let's take some answers. All right. I am sharing the presentation. Let's answer. Is the presentation clear for everyone?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Okay. So let's answer the question again. Why do you think leadership matters today? All right, Noor. And after Noor, Leila.
okay, because we are building the future. Like when you are teaching a student, you are building the future. You don't
Mhm.
create like normal human being. You are creating leaders. And if you create like people who go on the same line, like working, going home, and stuff like that, you won't like build the society that we aim for. Like I always aim to create like someone who is really able to affect other, who can
Mhm.
leave impact on the future and can create a great society and participate, not like
Correct.
standing on the line and following only the orders.
That is correct. Thank you so much, Noor, for your participation. Leila.
Good evening, everyone. So, basically, in my opinion, it's very important to build leadership in youth today because, like, they're the future. They're literally our future. So, basically, when we do that now, we're giving them the skills to become the future citizen that have their own voice, that they can drive socially change, and they can, we can help them adapt to changes faster, and we give them the tools to help them do that. And also they provide us with their fresh perspectives, so they can give us like a new way to look at certain situations and provide solutions for these situations as well.
Thank you so much. Yes, that is the point. Also, we have a lot of responses on chat because they are the leaders of the future and must learn how to rely on themselves to lead the change for tomorrow. Also, we have youth leadership develops essential life skills for youth people, fosters innovation and civic engagement. We are preparing leaders for excellence because they are the leaders of the future and must learn how to rely on themselves to lead the chance for tomorrow because it empowers young people to take innovative and real world problem and create positive change in their communities. As educators, we nurture their youth leadership to build critical thinkers, responsible citizens, and compassionate futures. Also, compassionate future leaders who can shape a more just and sustainable world. Very good, very great answers. Leadership roles helps youth develop critical life skills like communication, empathy, resilience, and ethic decision making. That is very good. Now, since we are talking about that, how about we share together the strategies that you use as teachers in your classrooms to implement that?
Miss Anoud,
How do you implement?
Miss Anoud, I'm really sorry for
Yes.
interruption, but we
Yeah.
have Miss Noor Khanfar with us.
Hello, Miss Noor. Welcome, Miss Noor.
Can you
Hi
please?
everyone, how are you? Thank you very
Yes.
much for the introduction, Miss Al Anoud. I am sorry for being late. There were like some technical issues.
It's okay.
Thank you very much. So I hope
Miss Noor, I'm so sorry, but I already presented you to everyone. But I went through the first slide, the agenda. We covered that. And now I asked the question, why youth leadership matters today. So you can start with the icebreaker if you want.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Salanud. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Hello, educators. Hello, innovators. So now that we have already started and we gave the introduction, let's go ahead and talk about youth leadership according to our experience and previous background. So when we mention the term youth leadership, what is the first thing that comes up in your mind? According to your previous experience as an educator and even as a learner in universities or schools. Please take about 3 minutes to think about it and share your answers on the chat box. Thank you.
Ms. Noor, I will share the presentation from my laptop, all right?
Yes, Ms. Alanud, please do that.
Just
Thank you.
tell me if you need to go to the next slide.
Sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is it clear, Noor? You are muted.
It's clear.
Yes,
Thank
it is.
you.
It's clear.
Thank you. Noor, some people are asking you to repeat the question.
Okay. Sorry about that. On the phone, the answers are kind of going on top of each other. Okay. So to repeat the question, with Ms. Alanud, we have already explained and gave an introduction about youth leadership. So youth leadership, what we will be talking about today, focuses on how we are going to improve our students, especially in primary grades, their skills to become leaders and make a positive impact in their community. So, accordingly, when I say the term youth leadership, what is the first thing that comes up in your mind according to your experience as teachers, as educators, even as learners? And what is the first thing that comes up in your mind when we talk about that? So please have about more couple of minutes to think about it so we can discuss your answers. Okay, great. We have excellent answers. Empowerment, classroom behavior, participation, listening actively. Okay, all of these are excellent answers. Thank you very much. These are really good. And inshallah, we will be covering all of them during the session for today. So can we please go to the objective slide, Ms. Alanud? Okay, so for our objectives for the workshop today, before we dive into the frameworks and the activities, let's look at what we will be focusing on in this session. So these 3 objectives will give us the opportunity to discuss, and it will help us understand how we as educators can improve our learners to lead community change. So starting with the first objective, recognize and understand the importance of youth leadership in building civic engagement, community responsibility, and 21st century skills. Youth leadership isn't just about giving students titles in the classroom, for example, team captain or class leader, or class speaker, or so on. It is also about giving them agency. So this term we will be discussing further in the workshop, actually. But for now, how do we define agency? It means the ability to make decisions and take initiative and see the impact of these decisions on their surrounding community. So when students begin to take responsibility and actions for the real world scenarios in their school or local community, they begin to understand the role as active citizens. And this is how we transfer from passive learning to active participation, which was discussed in previous studies in this field. Our second objective is apply. Explore and apply key frameworks such as service learning, youth participatory action research, and project-based learning to design youth community projects. So these are the three main frameworks that we will be discussing today, and we will be talking about them more in depth in the workshop. As for the third objective, which is encourage reflection and feedback to understand, impact, and strengthen sustainable student-centered leadership cultures. And this will be the core, let's say, of our workshop, because we will provide space for reflection and giving feedback to each other and understanding. If we walked out of this workshop with the ability to recognize the proper strategies to apply in our classes for a better youth leadership skills in our classroom. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so now let's please take a look at a practical example of youth leadership in action after we got to know it a little bit theoretically. Let's take a look at this example. Let's picture a group of grade 4 students who notice that the school garden is full of litter after recess. Instead of waiting for teachers, they decide to create a clean and green team. They begin colorful posters, they design them, they remind their classmates to use the bins, they work together to collect the recyclables, and they show the results in the school assembly. So from this quick story, let's take a little question here. How can we see youth leadership in action in this story? Please take 2 minutes to think about it and share your answers according to your experience.
Ms. Noor, would you like me to read the answers?
Yes, please, that would be great.
Okay. Enhance leadership qualities, innovatives, young learners exercise the secret ingredient for a future that builds a smarter, kinder, and creative students that the world needs in order to have great leaders later. Okay. Taking innovatives, active learners, engaged, responsible. They took action themselves and solved problems, decide to be part of the solution, not the problem.
Yes, all of these
Taking,
are great answers, actually, especially the part where they have decided to be a part
yeah.
of the problem. And this is
Also we
yeah,
have taking decision and
excellent.
solution.
Yes,
Those
excellent.
are the answers, Ms. Noor.
Yes, very good, because all of them are relevant and they're all main elements of youth leadership that we will be discussing. So, on the next slide, let's talk about why youth leadership, what do we mean by youth leadership today? So, when we say youth leadership, according to previous studies, such as a study conducted by Mitra in 2004, it contains of specific elements. First of all, having a voice, where students are encouraged to express their ideas. And here, when we have and we provide the space for the students to give their voice, to give their decisions and ideas, we could actually see and touch how much of a difference it can make in the student's personality and how they feel belonged in their society, their community, and their classroom in particular. So this is the first important element that we should focus on while we are integrating and applying youth leadership in our educational process. The second element is taking initiative, where students identify problems, create solutions, and lead projects which one of the answers by our great educators was talking about. The third element is working with others by collaboration, teamwork, learning to influence positively, because as we all know, leadership is never a solo act. It is always about teamwork and always about collaboration. And from here, a lot of youth leadership skills will be improved and developed, which we will be discussing later, and it will lead to a positive and healthy educational culture and environment, which relies on teamwork and positive collaboration and communication. As for the fourth element, which is making a difference, it happens by engaging in real community change. And they all go back to the first element, which is having a voice. Because when a student recognizes how his voice can make a good impact and a positive impact in his classroom and community in general, he will be encouraged to engage in the community change and participate as well. So now if we want to discuss why youth leadership matters today. Now that we have seen what youth leadership looks like in action, let's talk about why it matters. In today's world, which is changing rapidly, education is not only about delivering knowledge and information, but it is also about developing critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and community engagement. We have several previous studies that talked about this matter. One of them is a study conducted by Fallon in 2001, which says youth leadership can transfer learning or the educational process from passive learning to active citizenship. It can also prepare learners for 21st century skills. Leading experience can build critical thinking and collaboration and communication as well. And from Fallon's study, this reminds us that our role as educators is to move students from passive learning to active citizenship. This means we are not only teaching our students to observe the information, but we are also teaching them how to meaningfully use it in their environments and how to engage in leadership experiences, whether it is a leading project or a campaign or even a classroom discussion. Here we can actually see that the classroom members, our students, our learners are participating and they are practicing real citizenship. Fallon also talks about preparing students for the 21st century skills, which are very important for our today's world, such as critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. Here, when this happens and students are put in a position to lead projects, they are naturally practicing all of these skills. And this helps them solve problems, learn to express themselves, and be confident. Another study that was conducted by Mitra in 2004 mentioned its importance in building agency and responsibility and focusing on civic engagement. So here Mitra adds another layer of the human side of leadership. She emphasizes that youth leadership builds agency and responsibility. Agency, which is what we talked about earlier, which is giving the students the space to see themselves as capable of influencing change. And it also helps them feel responsible and gives them that position to give their voice and make a good impact. So Mitra here highlights also civic engagement, the idea that when students can lead a community, they can create projects, they can develop the project, they can develop a sense of belonging in their community. And here they begin to realize that, okay, I have a voice, my actions matter, and I can actually make a change in my society. Now let's take a quick reflection activity. Please take 3 minutes to think about this question and share your answers in the chat box. If you had to summarize youth leadership in one word, what would it be?
Citizenship, independent, student agency, responsible, innovative, taking initiative, empower, service, decision maker, autonomy, critical thinker, teamwork, empowerment, innovative,
These are
future,
yes, future leaders.
inspiration, service learning.
Can I just point out something here from the answers? Future leaders is exactly what we are working on right now. So we are working on building future leaders in our community. We have to, as educators, recognize and acknowledge the fact that what we build in our students today is what we see later in our community in the future. And this is why we say future leaders. So I just wanted to point out this great answer.
So we have confidence, impact, teamwork and skills,
Empowering
And-
and building confidence.
understanding and empathic, strong personality. Someone said they are minions.
Yeah,
Professionalism, awareness,
this is great. This is good, good.
little teachers.
They are little teachers, of course. They are, and we're going to have more examples further in the presentation that shows us how they can play a good role as being teachers as well. Okay, now let's take a look at the models and framework that we will be talking about for empowering youth. So here we can see that we will be discussing. One second, please. Okay. So here we will be discussing and understanding why youth leadership matters. So let's talk about how we can make it happen in our classroom and our schools according to what we see in the process diagram here. So in the beginning, we will start by talking about the approaches, models and frameworks as approaches to empower youth, and then we will talk about them as tools, how we can apply them in our classroom, how we can apply them in the educational process to develop students' responsibility. And then we are going to talk about the outcome of youth leadership. How do we see youth leadership when we are, after we finish applying our frameworks? So let's begin with our first framework, which is the service learning framework. It is actually one of the most impactful and strong frameworks that we will be talking about today. So service learning is more than just volunteering or doing a community project. It can also be a teaching approach that you can apply in your classroom. This connects what students learn in their class with meaningful community service. So here, as we can see, service learning as a teaching approach can be defined as a teaching method that integrates meaningful community service with classroom instruction. And as a framework, we can see that it is a structured framework that connects academic learning to community service through planned stages. We have 4 main stages for it as a framework, which is preparation, action, reflection, and demonstration. And according to these studies, the previous studies that were conducted about this special matter, educators describe helping students apply their academic knowledge while also developing civic responsibility is what exactly service learning is all about. So if we would like to go in depth about service learning as a teaching method, let's go back, Ms. Alanu, to the same slide. I just want to point out a couple of points. From here, from the teaching approach, we understand that when we use service learning as a teaching approach, we bring together curriculum objectives and real-world action. So for example, if we have students, they are learning about environment and science, they could design a project that could improve recycling at their school, for example, or water conservation, for example. So what makes it powerful, the service learning approach and framework, is that it can help students not only study the problem, but actually take action to solve it. And this can develop their leadership, empathy, and teamwork skills. Next slide, please, Ms. Alanoud. Now, if we talk about service learning as a framework, we can see that it means it follows a structured process that ensures both learning and impact. So according to previous studies, we have 4 main stages. We have the preparation stage, which identifies a community lead and links to the learning goals. We have the action stage, which helps students engage in meaningful service activities. We have the reflection stage, which helps students think critically about what they have learned. And we have the demonstration stage, which helps students share their outcomes in impactful ways with others. So let's take a quick example that might simplify the concepts of the stages. Here in the sticky notes, we can see each stage and what action and what did the students do in each stage to come up with the final results that was demonstrated. So the first one is preparation. Grade 5 students explore how water scarcity affects their town, and they link it to the science unit that they are taking. And then we have the action stage where they create awareness. They create posters about water saving, for example. They put it up in their school community. Then we have the reflection stage where they talk about what they have learned from their peers and from their teachers' reaction. And then we have the demonstration stage where they present their outcomes to the school. Now, if we would like to talk about how we can apply service learning strategies in our classroom, especially for primary grade students. In the beginning, classroom helpers with purpose, which means assign weekly leadership roles. For example, eco monitor or kindness leader, for example. The second one is mini community projects. Try to apply mini community projects in your classes or your school environment. For example, simple service acts or thank you notes for the teachers or the administration, planning any certain events, for example. Story-based services, such as giving stories that can improve youth leadership skills and can encourage their attitude towards it. For example, a story called Mission Mars, which talks about children learning in engineering and science through a space story, which is quite interesting for their ages, definitely. We have the reflection circles, which discuss after each activity, who did we help and what did we learn? So let's take quick examples of service activities. Environmental projects where they organize recycling campaigns, tutoring and mentoring where they support lower grades with their curricula, health and wellness where they make awareness campaigns in schools. We also have cultural projects where they organize storytelling about their heritage of their country. And we have community research where they contribute community surveys to understand local challenges. A quick reflection activity that is specifically about the service learning framework. Think of one project or activity in your class that could become a service learning opportunity. What would it look like? You can talk about something you have already worked on, or you think you will work on in the future, or you are currently teaching in your curriculum. How would it look like? Please take 3 minutes to think about this and share it in your chat.
An awareness campaign about genetic disorders, young doctors, nutrient awareness, project-based learning as teaching strategies, tricycling project, Save the World activity, working on STEAM projects,
Very good.
3R activity, Save Energy projects. People change the environment. Learners are engaged to apply the 3Rs in a creative way, community awareness, writing project, any group activity that requires similar levels and planning which requires the cooperation of more than one student. Science experiments, safety
Excellent. They are
awareness.
all excellent answers. Thank you very much. There is one question that I've seen, it caught my attention, how we can apply service learning in Arabic sessions. How about we think about it all together? Let's take 2 minutes to think about it, solve it, and we will collect the answers and talk about it.
Noor, they are asking you to repeat the question, please. Noor.
Yes, so the question says how we can apply service learning in our Arabic classes. One of our colleagues is asking that question. I would like us all to think about it so we can answer it together.
Some of them answered cultural awareness, like the previous slide, participating in twinning projects. My humble suggestion is to refer to the reading text in class, help non-native kids to learn Arabic as innovative from students themselves, kids tutoring each other or other
Okay,
kids.
very good. Yes. So service learning is an educational approach. It combines academic learning and meaningful community services. So for me, honestly, personally, whether we are combining, whether we are applying it in Arabic sessions or English sessions, we have to go through the main stages, using, of course, the Arabic language. I hope I'm answering the question. All of the answers are very good. I'm looking at the answers. In class learning, okay. By connecting the language skills with the real community engagement, exactly. And they can use Arabic in meaningful ways. Thank you very much. So all of these are very good answers. Okay, let's talk about our next framework, Youth Participatory Action Research. So now that we have talked about service learning and how it focuses on integrating curriculum objectives with service, with community service, we're going to talk about the Youth Participatory Action Research, which focuses on empowering students as researchers and change makers. Students act as researchers, not just as learners. They investigate real issues that matter to them, and they lead the process of inquiry and change. Okay, next slide, please. So what makes YPAR very powerful is that it promotes agency, critical thinking, and collaboration. Students design surveys, they conduct interviews, they analyze the data, they present their findings. Teachers, principals, everyone can see their findings when they are done. So, for example, in a primary classroom, students can explore why some students are not going to their library sessions, for example, or how can we make our playground more safe in our school. So they are choosing a certain problem, a certain issue, according to their questions. They are analyzing, they're collecting the data, analyzing it, and coming up with outcomes. So accordingly, previous studies define YPAR as an approach in which young people investigate issues affecting their lives, analyze data, and make action to create positive change in their communities. Next slide, please. The key features of YPAR is youth, our students, act as researchers in the classroom, where students are going to identify an issue. They're also inquiry-based learning, where they collect data through tools. They have critical reflection. They analyze their findings and discuss their root causes, for example. Also, action for change, where they share their results with decision makers or they design the solutions. Why it matters? So why does this framework matter in particular to be applied for empowering youth leadership? First of all, it builds agency and voice by allowing youth to study their own realities. It also develops research, collaboration, and critical thinking skills. It connects students to civic engagement. And I would like to point out something here. We would notice here in this framework that they all work for the same reason. They all work for the same reason, where they are building space and an environment for the students to feel that they can make change. Now let's talk about the stages of the youth participatory action research. So the first stage is identify, where students choose a problem according to questions they have. They identify the problem and they specify what they will be searching and learning about. And then they will design, where students are going to design the tools that they will be working on, surveys, interviews. They will collect the data, they will give the surveys, that they will make the interviews with the teachers, with the principals, according to the targeted audience, according to the problem. And then they are going to analyze the data, apply it, and then reflect it, and also demonstrate it to people who can be decision makers. So here we have a quick example about YPAR in class. So here the topic is healthy eating in school canteens. If we want to apply the YPAR framework in this classroom, what do we do? Number one, identifying the issue. Students will notice that many items that are sold in the school, they are unhealthy. For example, like juice, the candy, the chips, all of that can be unhealthy sold items in our canteens in our schools. The second thing is designing the research, where students prepare surveys and conduct short interviews with their teachers, with their administration, with their canteen members. so they can collect the required information. Number 3, they collect the data where they they give the surveys to the students, they have the interviews with the canteen members, the teachers, as we have just mentioned. Also analyzing data, number 4. According to the foundings, they analyze the data, which is awareness of healthy eating exists, but the choices are limited. The results are compared to Ministry of Health recommendations. Number 5, they take action, where students design a healthy canteen week. They submit the proposals and they see what is the result of their work, and then they give a reflection and they work on change. So students reflect on how their research and leadership influences school policy, and the canteen agrees to pilot a healthier menu for the semester. Let's think about these questions, please. I think they need extra time, more than 3 minutes. So we will take about 5 minutes to think about these 3 questions and share our answers in the chat box. What topics could your students investigate that matter to them? How can we guide them without controlling the process? And what YPAR builds in our students? Please take a moment to think about them, and we will discuss the answers.
This is a kind reminder that you can share your answers on chat.
Okay, how about we discuss and give clues to each other so we can start sharing our answers in the chat box. For example, what topics could your students investigate that matter to them? Have you ever heard one of your students coming up to you complaining about some issue in the school? Something that matters to them that could be better in their school? For example, the playground, they don't like something in their playground, they don't like something in their classroom design, for example. What kind of issue have you heard your students talking about that you think can be applied and can be solved according to this framework?
We've got some answers.
Yes.
By
Th-
becoming
these-
caring individuals. Do you want me to read them, Noor?
Yes, please. Yes.
All right. To become caring individuals who take your mics, please. Just make sure that your mic is turned off. By becoming caring individuals who take principled action, open mind thinkers who consider different perspectives, and reflective learners who evaluate their impact. The phenomena of violence and bullying. YPAR builds research skills and self-confidence for the students. Students can investigate topics that truly matter to them, such as environmental issues, inclusions, digital safety, or community well-being. As educators, we can guide them by offering resources, asking thoughtful questions, and encouraging reflection without taking control of their process or ideas.
Excellent. Yeah.
That's very good. Through YPAR, students develop critical thinking, confidence, collaboration skills, and strong sense of agency to make positive change in their communities. Bullying and activities, classroom design. Also,
Them are
how
very
to be
good.
kind. Yes, those mostly are the answers, Noor.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, all of them are excellent answers. Now let's go to the project-based learning framework. Okay, so now that we have learned about the first 2 frameworks, let's move on to the third and the last framework for our workshop for today, which is the project-based learning framework, which focuses on learning through doing. So here we can see that project-based learning students don't just learn about concepts, they learn by doing these concepts. They explore academic real-world questions, they apply knowledge, they work collaboratively in teams, and they solve the problems creatively. So, according to previous studies, PBL is a teaching framework where students learn by actively engaging in real-world, personally meaningful projects. So, what makes PBL special? Why does it help us in empowering youth? Because it's about using knowledge to create, test, and solve. Through projects, students develop both academic understanding and practical life skills. Things like teamwork, problem solving, and creativity. So here we have a quick example, as you can see, for grade 4 students. Let's take a look at it and try to acknowledge how they have applied the PBL framework. Starting with number 1, grade 4 students launched a school garden project. They identify the problem, they plan and divide leadership roles, they research the soil types, design planting areas, track growth, present their progress to the school community. So as you can see, it also goes through stages to apply the PBL, and it focuses on providing the students to learn by doing. So accordingly, the definition of the project-based learning framework is a framework in which students learn by actively engaging in real-world and personally meaningful projects, developing both academic knowledge and practical skills. So here we can see that we have the stages of the PBL. Yes, thank you. We have the stages of the PBL. First, driving question, then planning and inquiry, then designing and creation, then the presentation, then the reflection, and the evaluation. So in depth, let's talk about each stage in depth, starting with the driving question. Start with a challenging question or an enthusiastic issue. Number 2, planning an inquiry where students research, brainstorm, and plan how to respond. Number 3, students conduct the research and gather information from peers or community members. This is, of course, under the design and creation stage. As for number 4, the presentation stage, students share their work with peers or their wider community. And the last stage, which is reflection and evaluation, students assess what they've learned and how they worked together. Now, why does it matter? Project-based learning is deeply empowering because it encourages students' voice and ownership. So it helps students see learning as relevant to their world. They're not only completing a task, but they are solving something that matters to them. So it supports also leadership development, as students can take initiative, make decisions, and collaborate effectively. So as we can see in the slide, why does it matter? First of all, it encourages students' ownership of learning. Second of all, it connects learning to authentic real-life contexts. Number 3, it builds critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Number 4, it supports long-term understanding. Now here we have examples of our PBL framework applied in the class. For example, applying it through technology for social good. Students design simple mobile apps, building digital literacy. Number 2, cultural heritage preservation in social studies and arts, for example, where students research local heritage and create digital stories. They support also pride in national history and identity. Now, how can we apply PBL in general in our primary grades and classrooms? Number 1, by applying mini STEM projects, by linking lessons to real-life challenges. Number 2, project corners, for example, having a corner that is in your classroom that can have and include projects that are done by the students and the learners. Number 3, team challenges, promoting collaboration through small group problem solving. Number 4, showcase days. Let students present their projects to peers or parents. And number 5, reflection journals, where students draw or write what they have discovered and created. Now, I think this is one of the most interesting parts of the workshop. And honestly, to me, it is one of the fun parts of this workshop, because each and every framework is very, very important to create the youth leadership. So if we apply one of them in the classroom, it's fine. We will get the results that we want. But how about if I tell you that we can integrate all 3 of them in our class? This can make it absolutely better with more and positive results. So as you can see here, we have a diagram that shows how we can integrate it, and we have the outcome in the center. Now, integrating all these frameworks together, they can give us empowered youth leadership, which relies on critical thinking, collaboration, and civic engagement.
Noor, are you with us?
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Technical issue. So here, after we have talked about integrating the frameworks, we took a look at the diagram. Let's answer this question quickly. We will have 2 minutes. Example of integration in practice. Healthy canteen project. If you were in charge of your school canteen, what's the first thing you would change? Please take a look at the options. You can just answer with the letters. Okay, so we have someone who said moving students more students involving. Very good. Okay, so let's go to integrating. Sorry, another technical issue. So let's go to a quick general idea about how we integrate to empower youth leadership. Service learning, YPAR, PBL, they can all be integrated to reach to the outcome that we are looking for by helping students identify the issues, empowering students to research and analyze the problem, and then guiding the students to design and implement creative solutions. So here we are having real world success stories of applying the youth empowerment framework. Please, let's take 2 minutes. Please individually read it, take a look at it, so we can go to the next story.
Noor, in order to save some time, I can copy this one, send it on chat, and everyone will
Yes.
be able to read it.
Yes, sure, please, because it's about like individual reading, so we won't
Done.
be explaining it. Yes.
Done. I did that. Yes, we can
Thank you
go
very
to the
much.
other slide. Yes, we can.
The next slide is the same thing, but it is about the YPAR framework. It is also a successful story that happened in Canada. The third slide, it's about successful story that happened in the United States, where they have integrated all the frameworks together to empower youth leadership.
I've sent them all on WhatsApp, on chat, so we can continue.
That's great. We have actually reached to the fun part in our workshop. It is the 6 thinking hat strategy. It is a very interactive and fun strategy, one of my favorite strategies to apply actually in my classroom. The objectives of our strategy for now, helping our learners analyze issues from multiple perspectives, encourage balanced, respectful, and innovative thinking, perfect for evaluating and planning our students-led initiatives. Each hat, according to the color, has its own focus and role. So if I give you the white hat, you are supposed to give me facts and data. If I give you the red hat, feeling and the intuition, can you see all of them? Can you see the colors?
Yes.
Very good. Now, next slide, please. Let's take quick questions. Let's start with the white hat. What information or data do students, leaders need before acting? What do you think? Please share your answers in the chat box.
Noor, in order to save some time, you can give the answers.
Sure. Okay, so we have
Thank you.
6 hats. We have the white hat, the red hat, the black, yellow, green, and blue. Each hat has its own question that we are looking for the answers. I'm not sure if we can go through all of the questions, so I would suggest that it can be a homework, let's say, or an assignment where you can take the questions, try to search and look for the answers yourself, and you can evaluate yourself according to your understanding and the PowerPoint presentation, and I will be happy to help anyone later after we are finished. From ideas to action, the last slide, please, Ms. Alanoud. As you can see here, we talked about youth leadership, how we can apply it, how we can improve it using the frameworks, the 3 frameworks, either individually or integrated, and how educators can start today. Think, share, and reflect. Think of one issue in your school or community where students could take the lead. Which framework would you apply? Think, share, and discuss with your colleagues, with your principal, with even your students. You can talk about this with them. It would definitely improve their academic and personal performance, and work on it in your class. Thank you very, very much for everyone who joined our session for today. I hope you are walking out of the session right now with strategies that you are able to apply in your classroom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Noor. I'm just going to go over the 6 hats. If
Okay.
anyone would like to take a screenshot, they would like to refresh their memories.
Thank you, Ms. Alanud, for your help. I'm very sorry I had technical issues.
No problem.
Thank you very much, everyone. It was nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Ms. Noor, for this fruitful session, and thank you
Thank you.
everyone for joining. As we conclude this inspiring session at Queen Rania Teacher Academy Forum 2025, we extend our heartfelt appreciation to all the participants for your active engagement and insightful contribution. We hope this experience has enriched your perspectives and equipped you with the ideas and tools to foster values-based education in your schools and communities. You will receive your certificate of attendees via email soon. We kindly encourage you to complete the feedback survey to help us enhance future events. Thank you for being part of this forum. We look forward to welcoming you again at upcoming QRTA events. Thank you so much, Ms. Noor, and thank you everyone for attending this session. Hope to see you soon, everyone. Have a nice day.